Be very careful bypassing heating systems, because if you're not, you're going to turn your hot water tank potentially into a bomb. Welcome, it's Howard from HDS Electrical, and today we're discussing some heating problems I had at my house and changing a motorized valve. I've been told by a plumber it's quite simple, I can do it myself, so famous last words. So what happened Saturday, me and my business partner pulled a 12-hour shift, and I came home and found a phone call from my mum. She had no hot water. So I went round, investigated it, turned on the immersion, found out the issue, which I'm going to talk to you today. This morning I actually bypassed it temporarily. I'll explain to you how and why it can only be temporary. Also, you've got to be very careful bypassing heating systems, because if you're not, you're going to turn your hot water tank potentially into a bomb. Now, I got a Y-port valve which has 5 wires, and when I got this, no, an S-port valve, sorry, a 2-port S-plan valve which has 5 wires. When I got this, it's got 6 wires, and I thought, that's not right for my system. And I've had a look in the plans, and actually they have a spare way. This is designed to go either S or Y, apparently. So first time I've seen that before, but then again I've never replaced one. So we're going to wire it up using S. Yeah, I'm going to get it right one of these times. We're going to wire it up using S, just the 5 cables, make safe the white cable, and there we go. So, for an S 2-port valve, 1 pipe in, 1 pipe out, you have 5 cables. We can rule out the earth and neutral, and on these, grey is permanent live. That's a key thing to remember. So you've got taken away live, neutral, earth. You're actually only left with 2 strange conductors. Brown is a switch live, so your thermostat, your programmer, whatever it may be, gets wired to this, and the orange calls for heat from the boiler, so this gets wired to the boiler effectively. So basically we turn our thermostat up, it sends power to this opens the valve. When the valve is open and water can run freely, it then sends a signal down this saying, hey boiler, give me some heat blood. So essentially I've joined these 2 temporarily just up there. So as soon as it calls for heat, it also, the boiler starts warming up. Now what I did with that is this device, you can actually lock the valve open. I locked the valve open because I keep wanting that flow of water through. I don't want, the boiler shouldn't just keep heating up and heating up, but I haven't taken any chances. I've let it flow through anyway. It's also controlled by a tank stat. So the tank stat, and I'm going to show you this, stops this and this from cooling anyway. That's really important. That's one of the key components you can't bypass on a stat, because we don't want it exploding. There should be pressure release valves and other places, things in practice, but, you know, exploding hot water tanks sound pretty catastrophic, and I don't want that. So you've got to be very careful. If you don't know, don't do it. Just up here in the loft, I've got my bell testers. We've got a little camera on this wiring centre. There are actually 2 other wiring centres in there. It's quite a complicated one. We've got a valve here. The valve in question is actually behind me, but it's the same as that. I'm going to tell you, briefly how I identified it, how I've bypassed it, and some safety checks you can do which also help you identify things, and then we're going to wire it up. So the simple way I found out which one does a hot water tank in this instance, we got a hot water thermostat here, which is one of the key devices that stops it exploding, along with a pressure release valve up there. But I literally got my tank stat here. I just followed the cable back. It's that simple. It was here. It's now here. I wiggle it. It is these 2 conductors. So I have one brown and one blue. In there I have a common and an L1 generally, how we use them. Live comes into the common when it's told to from the programmer. If you go to your programmer, turn your hot water on, it will bring live to here, which I know personally is the terminal we are using because I've been doing it. So I turned it off at the minute, but it brings live here, goes up to the common, and then this device, you can hear the click, lets heat through or doesn't let heat through. And one key way of identifying which one's which, now I know because I've already done it, but we got a brown going there and this blue, ignore the colours, it's just what the guy used, coming back. For a start, it's wired to the brown of our valve, so that tells me this one returning is going to switch our valve on, open our valve up and trigger heating. The other way is I've turned the hot water on permanently, so hot water we get 230 volts. I'm not going to keep checking to 230, but you've got to be careful of stray voltages. Some testers will pick something up and actually when you put it against neutral you haven't got 240, it's just a faint kind of ghost voltage that may confuse you. Now when I go to this other brown one, it's not live because we've reached temperature. The power's come in here, it's gone, yeah, I'm at temperature, I'm not going to let the power out down to here. How can I test this? By turning the stat. So I should turn it, I hear a click, and this will beep. And this will beep. Yay! Watch out for delays with heating systems, especially wireless stuff. I've been caught out by a 5-minute delay on a wireless thermostat. I took everything apart 3 times trying to find the issue, and in the end, while I was scratching my head, I kind of gave up and it came on. And I was like, hang on, why has it come on now? And I realised it's just got a long ass delay. And everything was right the first time, let alone the second time. Back to this, we're gonna check it switches off. Good functionality, there we go. This clicked, we reach under temperature, we're at the desired temperature, shuts off, shuts the valve. And again on, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, and off, cuts off straight away, bam. So that's how we identify which cable this goes to. Now temporarily I wired this brown, like I said down there, to the oranges to tell the boiler to heat up, because the problem was I was getting no voltage towards the boiler. This was coming live when the tank stat wasn't hot enough, but wasn't going back to switch the boiler on. These little valve bits, I locked it open. They automatically close. I locked my one open on a little latch, and what that meant is it's constantly cycling water. So the boiler's not just heating up and stopping, the boiler's constantly pushing hot water around. Like I said, I don't think the boiler would heat up and explode, but I also don't want to find out. So what we're going to do is replace this, nice and simple. I'm not going to take out the gripper yet, I'm going to put it in place, wire it in 3, test it, then I'm going to remove the old one. The reason being, if this doesn't work or I can't get this to work, I'm going to have to undo all my work. Right, I am going to just go down and isolate this, then we're going to change the valve. I've gone and isolated everything. We're obviously going to carry out safe isolation. I'm just going to do that quickly. Ooh, dead. Check we're not getting anything. That beep is continuity because it is a TNCS system. So neutral and earth are joined at supply. In case you're wondering, if you don't know about that yet, then you will do, because it's pretty common. It's just a type of supply for in the house. rusty. One thing to be careful of, that wasn't an electric shock. That is a hot water pipe. That is a hot water pipe. There are lots of hot water pipes. I lose count of how many times I've burnt myself. Just a little bit. Remember, whenever you're working somewhere like this, there is a propensity to burn yourself, as I just did on that bugger. This out. So we've got 2 screws in there. Oh, that was easy. Right, we're not going to rewire this all the way back round. Under through all there, I'll take that out later if I need to. First things first, I'm going to try slotting this on. This nice attached earth is handy, but annoying. One of the key and simple things you can do when testing systems, physically turn it on and hear if the valve opens. I've got a valve there, I've got a valve behind me, I've got a valve in the airing cupboard where I put the downstairs underfloor heating on. That's actually got 2 on flow and return. No voltage at our brown, no voltage at our orange because I disconnected this. Now, this cable where the plumber used the earth as a core is our call from the programmer. Turn the programmer on, programmer's permanently overridden. This is live to that. Let me connect to that. So when I twist this, we should get live down our motorized valve, and then it should open, and then our orange should go live. Right, we clicked, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. But I don't know if you heard that because we're using these. I heard a click, and now if I go to my orange, we've got live. When a valve is not live, it's got resistance. See that? That's when a valve is shut. Really handy trick. Good way to tell it's shut. If I turn that off, we should hear a whirring, and that right there is going to go zoom. So we're going to give it a go. That's the technical term. Zoom. You watching? Well, don't you know? Little Howie knows how to wire a little hot water system. Key tip. Whenever you do something like this, go around and test every thermostat. Go by a valve, hold a prong on it, get customer, turn the room stat up, turn the room stat down, turn the programmer on, turn the programmer off. If you're doing central heating, you've obviously got to leave the thermostat on. It's important you check everything when you leave. This is from first-hand experience because you don't want to get a call at 7, 8, 9 o'clock